There he is. Now he's live. You did it. Let's go, Eden Army. Indeed. My name is Pete Robertucci. Russ, did we get that promo in? Let me hit that real quick for us, for all the friends, so we make sure.
We did not. I'm gonna bounce and come back. I'm gonna bounce and come back.
Okay. Hang tight. We're rewinding. Looks like we're running good there. Let's pop this real quick. I got it, Russ.
What? You're American, okay? Okay. What kind of American are you?
There we go. Eden Army. My name is Pete Robertucci. Don't forget to get over to kick.com so we can give you this great book from doomandbloom.net from our friends Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy. So go over there, hit the subscribe button. It's going to give you double the opportunity to win that awesome gift from doomandbloom.net. So we just ran a clip from the movie Civil War. And the question that we need to ask ourselves is, especially during this election cycle, what kind of American are we? Are we the kind of American that stands by and watches the Democratic Socialist Party continue to spread misinformation about the obvious decline of Joe Biden? Are we going to turn a blind eye to what's actually going on inside this administration right now? Or are we going to turn a blind eye to what we've seen during the G7 summit? We watched the leader of the free world being led off stage by a former president. And during the G7 summit, guided by foreign leaders to take his position when he just arbitrarily wanders away. Run clip 1. So are we supposed to just turn a blind eye to things like that? Or how about when our leader awkwardly puts his forehead on the Pope's head in a weird way? Because the rest of the world isn't turning a blind eye to that. He's turned us into a joke. Clip 2.
Buonasera. Presidente Biden. Oh, Presidente Biden. President, Mr. President. It's okay?
Are you okay, President?
It's okay. Okay, tutto a posto. Welcome, benvenuto. No, di nuovo, mamma mia. President, Mr. President, ecco.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Ok, it's okay.
Yeah, very good.
Si sente bene?
Yeah.
Sì.
Thank you.
Thank you, mamma mia.
Thank you very much. I feel good.
You are welcome. Buonasera. Dove va? Mr. President. Oh, mamma.
We're late.
No, non arriva la metropolitana perché non è la metro, it's not the subway, non è la metropolitana qui, no.
What's your name?
Con chi parla? Mr. President.
My name is Joe Kennedy.
No, Biden, lei è Biden, è Biden, ma con chi parla? Certo, prego. Ecco, se riesce, if you can. No, sta girando su, no, Mr. President, not turn, no, you have to.
No, my name is
No,
Joe
ma l'ha
Kennedy.
già salutato, lasci stare.
You know, maybe we're supposed to just believe what CNN and MSNBC tell us when they call this a cheap fake. Even when we watched our leader, the leader of the free world, freeze live on national television, then stammer while he forgets who his director of Homeland Security is. Cut 3.
My name's Joe Biden. I'm Jill Biden's husband. Thanks to all the members of Congress and Homeland Security Secretary. I'm not sure I'm going to introduce you all the way.
There is no conceivable way that Joe Biden can do this for another 4 years. And the fact that the Democrats are acting like he can shows that they are only in it for themselves and they only care about political power, even at the cost of our nation's reputation and our standing on the world stage. Shame on the Democrats for parading this man around. Shame on Jill Biden for allowing this to happen to her husband. Let's see what the White House wants us to believe, though. Clip 4.
On the video you
Sure.
were talking about.
Yeah.
There were 2 instances in recent days where leaders, former President Obama and Georgia Maloney of Italy, they physically put hands on the president to guide him and show him, give stage directions. Are they doing that on their own, or has anybody asked them to run the show like that?
First of all, let me spoke to the most recent, right? And as we saw on Saturday, President Obama's office put out a statement. So I would refer you to that statement about what was being accused in those by others. And he said this did not happen in the sense of what people were saying they were seeing, right? Or what was being falsely reported that they were seeing. Let's not forget, President Obama, President Biden have a relationship. They are friends. They're like family to each other. And I think that's what you saw. You saw the president put his hand on the back of President Biden, and they walked off the stage after taking questions or at an event taking questions from Jimmy Kimmel. That is what you saw. But I would refer you to President Obama's office statement. They talked about this, they discussed this, and they came out with it pretty quickly.
Maloney,
all right.
you wanted to say something about
Maloney, I don't have anything. I don't know specifically what happened with Maloney.
the wandering, the parachutist, etc.
Oh, I mean, look, that was, as I said, it was a cheap, a cheap fake. That was.
It was a cheap fake. Obama didn't just put his hand behind Biden and guide him off nice and gracefully. He grabbed him by the hand and he pulled him in to get the wandering dementia patient off the stage so he didn't make a fool out of himself. That's what happened. So, look, it's not just me. It's not just the Republicans. Our enemies in the world are watching this also. They're using this to take advantage of our weakness. I never intended this to become a political rant, but the sad fact is, despite all the overwhelming evidence produced, somebody I know and somebody that you all know will still vote for this man. But the scary part is he's not even running our country right now. Who is? Because he's not physically able to do it. But look, don't take my word for it. Look at what our allies are saying about it. Clip 5.
But first, I've spoken many times about the very public and obvious cognitive decline of the US president. Like many others, I've lamented the precarious state of the leader of the free world. And let's be honest, the man we rely on here in Australia to keep us safe, because God knows we can't do that ourselves. I've laughed when he's gaffed, and I've scoffed when he's humiliated himself on the global stage. But this week, ladies and gentlemen, we've entered a new era. And there is not one thing funny about it. Not a single tiny little thing. For the first time, I didn't watch a man slur his words a little bit or forget his surroundings momentarily. I watched a man completely void of all awareness. A man not present at all in mind. A man who desperately needs help and care.
Instead of trying to stop our ban on ghost gun kits that contain these that can commit crimes, they're working like hell to stop it.
What is it doing?
Now, this is no longer the fault of Joe Biden in any way, shape or form, i.e. an unwillingness to walk away or to give up power. No, he is well beyond that now. And that was flattering, by the way, that vision we showed you. The blame for this tragedy lies squarely on the people around him, the people who are meant to love him, meant to love their country. What they are allowing, enabling and encouraging is a disgrace, and one from which he and his political reputation, legacy, whatever you may think of it, will never recover. He should have been helped to walk away months, if not years ago. There is no shame in being unwell. Zero. It's not that he's old. I know people far older who are sharp as tacks. It's not his age. He is unwell. He can't control it. It's sad. Many of us have seen our own loved ones go through similar things. It is just cruel to continue propping him up and putting him in places he does not belong. Jill, Dr. Jill Biden, where are you? How could you? You are meant to love him. He is not a man in control. He needs people who love him to step in now. Abuse might feel like too strong a word, but it's the first that comes to mind now whenever I see the president in public. And we all lose in this situation, all of us, the president included. This is not good for him. I'll leave you with this. There is no way in hell Joe Biden is running America. No way. Which raises a question, who is? And in a democratic society, that just ain't good enough. We elect leaders, then live with the consequences of what the majority of us wanted at the time, what we chose. Whoever is calling the shots was not voted in. Now, in 5 months, it's looking more and more likely to be, well, a very different story. You might dislike Donald Trump, plenty do, but you will never, ever doubt that he's the one in charge. This morning, he returned to Washington for the first time since the January 6 riots.
We have to take this beautiful place and we have to make it really something very special again. Right now, it's not special.
And let's hope for all our sakes, and given the alternative, come November, he'll be there on a much more permanent basis.
So let's pretend Joe Biden isn't running the country. Let's pretend he has people that are much smarter than him running the country, which we know that's not the case, because let's talk about his policies. Are they working? This next news story, it seems like there's not a day that goes by that there isn't a story like this on the news. 2 Venezuelan migrants in the country illegally were arrested for the brutal murder of a sweet 12-year-old Houston girl. Clip 6.
Back with a Fox News alert, another one. 2 Venezuelan migrants charged with illegal in the country, charged with kidnapping and murdering a 12-year-old Houston girl. They were both caught by border agents earlier this year.
Shocker from Venezuela. DHS sources telling Fox that just weeks before Jocelyn's death, the 2 suspects were released into the U.S., with one of the migrants claiming he was afraid for his life if they sent him back to his home country. Now we know what he was up to. Let's bring in Ken Neely, Vice President of Houston Police Officers Union. Ken, your reaction to a horrific crime. This young lady, this young girl was strangled to death.
That's correct. It's a horrible act. First of all, thank you for having Houston Police Department's Houston Police Officers Union on to talk about this incredibly heart-wrenching story. Thank you so much.
So, Ken, tell us, what's been the reaction in Houston? It's known to be quite progressive, wanted to be a sanctuary city before Governor Abbott said, absolutely not. We'll take away your state funding. It's illegal in the state. Are they outraged in the city by this?
Yes, it's a total outrage in everyone in this city. You have a 12-year-old girl who's kidnapped and killed near her house by people who've crossed the country illegally. It's just a gut-wrenching feeling for not only the Houston police officers, but also the citizens of Houston.
So you have this 26-year-old Franklin Jose Pena Ramos crossed illegally in El Paso in May. He was caught by Border Patrol and was released into the U.S. With notice to appear. 21-year-old Johan Martinez crossed illegally in El Paso, was caught by the Border Patrol, released into the U.S. with an unknown status. The question is, they lied at the border, say they were refugees running for their life, so they knew what to say. Monitors were put on to give them to make sure they came back on a hearing date. We don't know if those monitors were cut off. What failed here in your mind? Where's the failure?
I think there are so many variables in this equation. They entered the country illegally, and I think at that point they should not have been allowed to be in the country. Just go ahead and send them back and not allow them entry.
So there you go. So we have a failing president and his support staff behind him who are clearly pushing this agenda is failing us also. The entire Democratic Socialist Party is failing us all because they want to continue their reign and power. And they don't care. Like I said this last week, they don't care about me or you or our family or our economy. All they simply care about is regaining power for another 4 years. And chat's blowing up. Who's going to be next? Clearly, somebody's going to take the place of Joe Biden. He's not, if he wins, he's not going to make it for 4 years. So, like in the Kick chat, they can't simply appoint somebody. That burden falls directly on the vice president. So now we're stuck with Kamala Harris. I don't see that being any better for this nation. But meanwhile, while all this stuff is going on, while all these policies are bringing illegal immigrants into our country, what is New York City worried about? What's their big concern? Well, in New York, Alvin Bragg, you know him. He's the biased New York district attorney. He decided what's important to him is to drop all charges against the anti-Israeli protesters who broke into Columbia University. They barricaded themselves inside and vandalized the building. Bragg said, look, guys, there wasn't enough evidence. Despite all of this being on video and more than enough footage to show what happened and who committed these crimes. Look, this story continues to highlight the two-tiered justice system that plagues our nation. Clip 7.
Back in April, dozens of pro-Palestinian protesters were arrested for occupying and barricading a building on the campus of Columbia University in New York City. We all remember those scenes. Today, prosecutors in Manhattan announced all criminal charges against those protesters have been dropped.
All of them dropped. That's what's important in New York City. So we're seeing a two-tiered justice system. The J6 guys never had this opportunity, did they? They wore the same type of masks, some of them, but every one of them, some of them still sitting in solitary confinement. Yet Alvin Bragg, in a very similar situation, decides there's just not enough evidence, guys. Look, there's a lot more going on in the news, but it's got me fired up this week. The fact that they're parading this mentally unstable man, and the fact that his own wife is allowing this to happen. And there are still people that are going to vote for this fool. Guys, we're going to be right back after these messages. There you go, guys. So that is the Troy's Gate commercial. We're having that right after Fallout. So please make sure you get your deposit in for that. There's Russ. Sorry about that.
There we go.
So absolutely.
There
So
we
let's
go.
talk. Let's talk about the news. Was I off base? Is there something I missed? I know there's a lot going on in the world. 8 Israeli soldiers were also killed in Rafah due to an explosion. Netanyahu did come to the White House to talk to Dementia Joe. Not sure how that all turned out. They're kind of hush-hush about that. But if you have any additional questions, like you see on the screen here, hashtag me or Russ, and we'll pop the questions up on the board. We still haven't got Kick integrated into StreamYard. That's on their end, not on ours. So, yeah, if you've got any questions about the news, got any comments about the news, throw them up on Kick. Let's see what's going on. Or we're still streaming on YouTube and Facebook also. So I'll monitor that real quick and see if we see something.
All right,
Will says he's moving to Kick. He says, forget these communist YouTube people. So I feel you. So
Yeah, there's not a lot going on. Lily is over there, and that's Lily and Will. I think we're the only ones over there other than you and Teresa.
Perfect.
And
so we got a full
Larry
house.
Dial was over there.
Yeah, we got a full house over on Kick. We got a bunch of viewers. Fireman Ed, baby girls in the house. Larry did convert over, although he did jump on. We did have a couple of subscribers I saw also.
I did.
Russ, did you see that? Fireman Ed must have worked a little bit of overtime to be able to afford that $4 a month. Thank you, Ed. I appreciate you. And guys, if you haven't subscribed yet, now do it now, because we're giving away this over $100 book for a damn $4 subscription from our friends over at doomandbloom.net. So we're going to tell you how to do that. But of course, you know how we roll. We're only going to do that on Kick. So if there's anybody watching on Facebook or on YouTube, after intermission, make sure you get over there. If you want to double your chances to win that book, hit that subscribe button and get your name in as quick as you can. Larry's there, Guy's there. Jeff received his book from last week. We were very prompt with getting that out, so that was awesome. I hope you enjoy that, Jeff. Jeff was our inaugural winner using the Bot Tricks raffle. So Reverend Finch is in the house. Corey's in the house. Hey, buddy. Opie.
Is Finchy showing subscribed?
Reverend Finch is not showing subscribe. Negative Ghost Rider.
Okay, so that's
He
another.
followed.
Right?
I think he followed, but I don't think he subscribed.
And
so we're gonna give you a little time to figure that out.
Okay, Dobby the Free Elf. Not sure who you are.
That's probably one of the knuckleheads from the fire department, if I had to guess. He said he was going to get on and harass us a little bit tonight.
Well, he said that
so
it was
he gets out of line.
Commercial, but
Yeah.
he also wants your opinion.
Okay. What is it?
Yeah, he said he wants your. I'll since nobody is following directions, guys. Hashtag Pete, hashtag Russ, or I'm not going to see those comments as easily, guys. So, because we're having a little bit of workarounds to get those comments up on the screen.
Yeah, it's just easier for him to pick out of the Kick Chat. Now, we're working hard with StreamYard, trying to get them to integrate Kick Chat onto StreamYard. That way, it'll work seamlessly. But they're not doing it yet. We're working on it. Caleb, buddy, good to see you. Javi, I told Javi I asked Javi if I could use him in our new book, and he of course immediately says yes, and I said, well, that's great, because in recognition of Pride Month, I said I've got a Puerto Rican transgender guy that's perfect for one of my scenes. He's going to sell his body for crack and meth, and I want to call him Javi, and he didn't.
He didn't buy that one. Huh?
No, he didn't. He didn't buy that one.
Okay. Zuzi Q, I think that is
probably Susan.
Susan,
I would guess.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mrs. Norman and them are saying hi. She wants to come see Daisy again. Nomad wants to come see Daisy again. Well, tell Corey I'll call him tomorrow. Y'all might see us on Sunday if it's okay.
Russ, I also want to give a shout out to my buddy Brian Loftus.
Oh, absolutely.
He sent me. I'm going to go large real quick here in a second.
By all means.
He sent me this really cool book here. It's called Tactical Tracking and Operations by David Scott Dunlin, and this is the Bible for tracking and stuff like that. This is what teaches special operators how to track. And as a matter of fact, Joe Tedeye went through his course, and Joe Tedeye is one of only 50 people. Of course, Joe Tedeye was one of the dual survival guys. Only one of 50 people that are actually certified to teach tracking through that particular course. So really cool. Right. Thank you, Brian. I certainly appreciate that.
And Sue LaRue and Charlie Williams have both mentioned that that book numerous times on their podcasts.
The Dobby asked how long he thinks I would survive on the Oregon Trail. Yeah, so I'll probably a good amount of time. You know, at some point though, I used to have this buddy, and I'm not sure this is my buddy from the fire department, but I had a pact with my buddy called Dusty over there. His name was Dusty at the fire department, and we always said, listen, if we're on the Oregon Trail together, look, I know Dusty's going to fall out quick. He doesn't have enough fat on his body to last very long, but he gave me permission to eat him when he goes out. So, Dobby, I think I would survive as long as I had my good buddy Dusty with me. I think I'd survive a long time. Will asked, do we hear about Tractor Supply going woke? I did not see any information on that.
Yeah. I have not either. Now, Susie Q had a question, and I hadn't seen this yet today, and but then again, I was getting CAT scans and freaking MRIs all afternoon, so I didn't get a chance to really look at my phone. And my lovely bride, who is my news source, didn't tell me anything about this, but we'll put it up here on the screen. So ZZQ says, did you catch this today? The Supreme Court issues a ruling that the Second Amendment does not imply an unlimited right to bear arms.
I did see that, and I researched that a little bit, Susie, and basically they used an interpretation based on domestic violence. So if somebody was arrested for domestic violence, regardless if they were charged or not, they said that basically that the Second Amendment does not give that person the right to bear arms. So implications, yes, but here's the deal. That's basically a red flag law, right? That's what everybody has talked about. That's what we've been fighting against forever. Although the Supreme Court only used it in that particular instance for domestic violence. So, are there further implications for red flag laws? Not quite sure if that's the case, but yes, it is a hit to the Second Amendment. I 100% agree. If you're a staunch Second Amendment person, you certainly would feel like you took a hit on that for sure. So absolutely, I did see that. Yeah, well, I did ask the question, what type of American are you? We ran that Civil War clip where that guy poignantly asks the reporters, what kind of American are you? And then I asked the question, okay, what type of American are you when it comes to the political environment we're being faced in the upcoming election? So what type of American are you? Are you going to sit by, or are you going to become vocal to all those people that are still, regardless of the numerous, the vast amount of evidence that we're seeing that Joe Biden is in a serious mental decline, they will still, despite Donald Trump, vote for this guy. So yes, I did ask that question.
But I tell you, there are more and more people, if you watch anything on Facebook or Twitter, more and more people are waking up.
Yeah, and I just saw a poll. And I think I mentioned it last week. 4 years ago, 38% of minorities under the age of 50, 35%, 38% were voting for Trump. Okay. That has completely flip flopped, where now 70% of those same people under the age of 50 are now planning on voting for Donald Trump. And not that Donald Trump is the best guy for the job, but he's the best guy that's running for the job. Okay. So, and part of this whole red flag stuff and bump stock thing that Susie was talking about, those policies came through under the Trump administration. So it's not like we're just all happy for Trump. No, he's got his flaws also. But this is certainly the lesser of two evils during this election. No ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I think, on the ballot, the question should be, are you better off now than you were 4 years ago? If the answer is, and you had to vote your conscience and look at kids in the eye and ask that question to yourself. And if you say no and you still vote for frickin' Biden, then you're digging your own damn grave.
Yeah, and it's true. And baby girl said her options are to vote for a convicted felon or to vote for a guy who's basically being abused, an old man who's being abused. It is sad, cheese doodle. It is really sad. But I was doing my research for the news today, Russ. I was going through because I was really a little bit tweaked that Joe Biden was allowing this to happen. I was really just a little bit perturbed by it. So I went through the history. And do you guys know how Joe and Joe Biden met? Russ, do you know how they met?
I do not.
Joe Biden was a 15-year-old babysitter for the Bidens. And then when she turned 21, Joe married her. So he was attracted to her. And couple this now with the diary that Joe Biden's daughter put out. It's not just, you're right, Brianna, you're right. It is elderly abuse, but there is so much behind the Biden family that is washed under the rug, that's never coming out, that's never, all because Democrats want to hold on to power. So yeah, it's pretty bad. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. That's, if you type something and Kick blocked it, that could happen. I don't know what to tell you, bub. Maybe Kick's going woke too. I have no idea. Write it over in YouTube, see what happens. They've created a DEI department, SOS Hobby. Oh.
Yeah. So Dobby asked me if I were to the Stanley Cup Finals right now, would I be rooting for the Panthers or the Oilers, and would I sing "Oh Canada"? I wouldn't be there.
First of all, Dustin knows. If this is Dustin, first of all, Dustin knows exactly what I think of ice hockey. It's men's figure skating. That's all it is. And they intentionally just get mad at each other.
Yeah, well,
so, and fight.
And I responded to him. I said I only went to one, and it was a local up in Great Falls, and a fight broke out. So, that was the best part of the whole thing. So
the good news is, Dobby, I'm about 1,200 miles from you right now, so that could potentially be my longest confirmed kill if you keep up your crap. So.
Yeah. He does have to come back to Daytona at some point in time.
Let's see. Javi asked if I saw a text. Let's check my phone here for Mr. Javi. He sent an image. Oh, yeah. What you got those? You got those in Publix. Man, you got some weird stuff going on in Tennessee. I don't know how you can get those in Publix. They can't be authentic. I'll clue you in later, Russ. It's top secret stuff.
Oh, good.
That might just be a name brand, but
Oh,
yeah, you're right,
absolutely.
Corey. They certainly used him as name recognition. I just can't believe they're doing what they're doing to this man right now.
Well, and somewhere up in the top of the chat, I think it might have been Teresa or somebody said it. There's some kind of surprise that's going to happen at the debate in August, and the Dems are hinting toward it. And I'm trying to scroll up and see if I can find it.
So Will over there on YouTube, it says, yes, anybody arrested for domestic violence that they consider a threat to the person that they committed the violence against, not convicted yet, gets their Second Amendment taken away from them. Yes, that is absolutely correct, sir. And that was a SCOTUS ruling that came through today or yesterday. I can't remember.
So let's see. Anyone arrested for domestic violence, not ever convicted.
You're right. That's right.
Well,
Cheese Doodle. OPSEC, baby.
Yeah, I know. You know, when I was in the military, if you got arrested for domestic violence, you lost your right to bear arms until such time as it was adjudicated.
Right. So I mean, it's not unheard of. Is it unconstitutional? I believe that it is. It's no different than a red. It's no different than a red flag law.
Your forms have ever been convicted. You know, it's all. Now, that'd be me again.
You're all right.
Okay, I'm back. So if I was in law enforcement and I responded to a domestic violence scene, you know, number one, we make sure they stay separate overnight. If there are firearms in the house, absolutely make sure they're secured where neither party could get them. That's not infringing upon their rights. That's a safety issue for both people involved, so it doesn't end up being a capital crime. But if everything's all said and done, then by all means, here, have your shit back. But you have, I mean, is it unconstitutional to do that? Yes. But is it irrational to do it? No, not in my opinion. Again, this is my opinion. When you have to go, you know, again, judged by 6, cared by, or judged by 12, cared by 6. You know.
Yeah, I agree, and that's where sometimes we have to separate emotion from the actual Bill of Rights, right? From what the actual law is. So yes, if you want that to be the case, then change the law. Change the law then. Okay. But of course we have steps in place that it's very hard to do. But yeah, so that's where the argument's always been. It's no different than the argument for abortion or gun control or, you know, it's a number of things. So Rev asked over in, let me see if I could pop this up. People ask me, what's the plan and who's in charge? If they don't have the information, then what? Walk in circles. The plan for what? The plan for the current administration? I don't know. Clarify that if you would. So yeah, the plan for the current administration, if something were to happen to the president, look, they can't just appoint somebody right now. It has to be the Democrat nominee for the president. Okay, so he has to go through the entire thing. Now, once he's in office, if they find that he's unfit, then it goes to the vice president. If the vice president for somehow is unfit, then it goes to the Speaker of the House. All right, that's the way the law works there. Mm-hmm. So yeah, we walk in circles. Hey, Agnes, how are you doing? Agnes, if you want, I see you over there on Facebook. If you want a chance to win this week's prize, make sure you get over to kick.com. The plan of not letting them keep the plan is to vote their asses out. The plan is to get all your people together and vote these power-hungry, anti-American people out of office. And it's not just the president. It's the senators. It's the Congress people. It's the liberal judges that are even worse than all of them. Vote their asses out and get rid of them. And why is this election so important? This election is so important, not just because Dementia Joe's running around pooping himself in the White House. Yeah, it's important because of that, but it's also important because this next president could very well place 2 more Supreme Court justices on that panel. And if Joe Biden is elected again, his puppet handlers are going to put the most liberal judges you've ever seen in your life on that panel. And then
they're going to add.
Yeah. And then what they want to do is add more judges. But that's going to turn the tide of the Supreme Court. And if you want to see radical leftists, socialists start enacting laws, get a very liberal Supreme Court, get a liberal president, run by a liberal Congress, and see what happens. So Agnes says, I can't get on Kick. Can't you get on Kick? Yeah, you don't, go to vote in person. And look, we can't, if they cheat, there's nothing we can do about it. It is what it is, okay? There's nothing we can possibly do about it. Well, Trump will take him to court again. Everybody hates Trump. He'll lose. It'll be what it is. And he'll claim that the election has been stolen, and 51% of the nation will agree with him, and then they'll be ostracized because of that, right? Yeah, I mean, I get it. I understand. But the fact of the matter is, that doesn't mean you don't go get in line and vote. Get in line, show your face, and vote. Whether it's for Dementia Joe, Poopy Pants, or Trump, whoever that may be, do it. I don't know what to tell you. Yeah, I don't want to mention that guy's case because I don't know him that well. I don't want to bash him. I mean, he's got a big following, and I like some of the stuff that he talks about. His charges were reduced. You're right. To what? If they were misdemeanors, if they weren't domestic violence, which it appears that they were. But from that point, from when he was accused of domestic violence to the point they were reduced, he could not, under SCOTUS ruling, carry a firearm, which is a shame because the guy is a friggin' war hero. So, well, your Mama Teresa, they are in better shape to fight. If they cheat this time, you're right. They are in better shape. But you know what? At some point, the RNC needs to take the damn gloves off. Take the gloves off. If they want to take you to the mud, go to the mud with them. Okay, we can't keep turning the other cheek. Okay, at some point we got to go get dirty with them, and that's just a way it's going to have to be. Start putting to light what these people are actually doing in there, what they've done. Okay, start holding them responsible. If a president can be charged for something he did in office, then let's go look at what Obama did when he executed United States citizens using a drone strike. Okay, let's go to that. Let's go to what Bill Clinton did. Okay, throughout history, and George W. Bush, same thing. You can go through history. Okay, and there's no statute of limitations on murder. So go ahead, bring them up. We're gonna have to start getting dirty with these people because they have no conscience. Get dirty with them. Yeah, Jeff just says, it'll probably never happen because they're in on it with them. And you know what? A lot of them are. And that's why a lot of them don't like Donald Trump. Okay. Look, we still haven't seen the list from little kiddie porn island, right?
Yeah. Epstein
why is that? Why haven't we seen Epstein Island files? Because there's just as many Republicans on that, I suspect, as Democrats, as high-profile actors and actresses and stuff like that. Yeah, it's a scam. All of it's a scam. So, what's that mean for people like us? Prep. Get your preps ready. That way, you don't have to rely on anything. Get your preps ready, and when the whole world, like Daryl Donnelly says, in 3 Days to Eden, let the whole world burn around me, just as long as they don't encroach on Eden and my family. We'll pick up the ashes. You know what, Melissa? That is a great point. Republicans do not volunteer enough at these polling stations. That's a fabulous point. And the people that are volunteering are little old ladies that are easily pushed over, easily let things slide. Republicans need to volunteer at these polling stations to keep an eye on things. Okay. What is that? It's an informative book there at Mama Teresa. What is? Rules are
Rules for Radicals. Yeah.
Yeah, that is a very informative book. Oh, I'm sorry guys, I'm reading chat over at kick.com. As a matter of fact, we've been going on traditional platforms for 45 minutes, Russ. Let's go ahead and let's talk about, before we go over to Kick, let's talk about the giveaway. We're going to use the same format over on Kick using bot tricks as we did last week. So that means we'll give you a word, hashtag a word. You type that in chat, and you'll be automatically entered into the drawing. If you're a subscriber, your one entry counts as 2. And once everybody goes ahead and types that in Kick chat, we'll give it some time to soak, make sure everyone gets an opportunity at this great prize from doomandbloom.net, Dr. Bones and Nurse Amy, and then we'll spin the dice and see who Botrix comes out with. But with all that being said, we're going to cut the feed to the socialist social media platforms, which is Facebook and YouTube. Russ hates when I say that, but that's okay. And we're going to go over to and we're going to go over to a more friendly platform, which is kick.com. So intermission, we'll be right back, guys.